Good morning, Top Fan Rivalry followers and can of corn followers. It's your boy Bill. That's Dave, Big Dave. We got Can of Corn episode 2. How is everybody doing on a Wednesday morning? Big Dave, how are you doing Wednesday morning?
Man, it's chilly in Houston, Texas, but it's a good thing I got my top fan hoodie. So it's keeping me nice and snug as a bug in a rug. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
hey, tell me, are they comfy or what?
Dude, you can't go wrong. This right here, for those that know, it's a Gildan sweatshirt. You know what I'm saying? You know what's up with Gildan. It fits like a champ. It doesn't shrink. It's good. It's big man approved. Okay. You know what I'm saying? As a big guy, I need quality. You know what I'm saying? The stitching, the fit. It's got that nice fleece inside. So it makes you feel all warm and cozy, like mom just made you a bowl of chicken noodle soup. You know what I mean?
Chicken noodle soup. I love it. Yes, that's the way to roll. I got mine. It's behind me. Mine's Dodger blue. Yours is navy. Listen,
Whoa,
and
whoa, 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 whoa. If yours is Dodger blue, mine's Astros blue. Okay. Like, don't, we can even, this is Houston blue because we can go Rockets. You know what I'm saying?
my
The
bad.
throwback pinstripes. We go Texans. And of course, we can go the two-time Houston Astro, the two-time World Series champ Houston Astro. All right.
The one and a half
Let's put
time World Series champions. Got
it. Okay, Mr. Asterisk.
it. this is
Real quick. Hey,
this is
man,
Wednesday morning. I mean, come on, let's go. What's
thank
that?
you. Let's start off right. Thank you and the rest of Dodger Nation for our outstanding future Hall of Fame outfielder, DH, hitting phenomenon, Jordan Alvarez. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I tipped the Eagles cap to you, man.
Yeah. We hear this all the time. Well, it's been a great show. No, all
And that's
right.
all for today.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got to get ourselves involved in this episode, and we got to do it. I hate doing it, but we got to do it. Let's just do the Ohtani watch for the week. Personally, I think this thing is going to drag out till the beginning of the year, but whatever. The top three teams this week that sound like they've got the head start are the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Cubs. What do you think, Dave?
You know, I think the fact that I know he's not pitching until 2025 may have lost some of its luster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do enjoy hearing that, with the Yankees, $500 million spent on four players, that they're really not in the running for Ohtani. Because I like Ohtani. I don't want to have to start hating him. Um, and I mean, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Cubs, just out of pure spite, go Giants. I mean, come on. If he's got to go there, send this butt to the National League and send him to Bill's favorite close cousin team there.
This guy right here, yes, this guy. No, the reason why I don't like this is because every year they have. So, Dave, I got to tell you, I took it personal, and I won't mention any names, but LeBron James. I took it. I took it personal when this guy did the decision. You remember when he did this thing, left
When he took
Cleveland,
his
went to
talents to
Miami?
South Beach.
Yeah, I'm like, who cares? But
Yeah.
apparently everybody watched that, and now I feel like we're on Ohtani watch. I just want this
Well,
guy to sign something.
real look, I know this is can of corn and we love baseball, but Lord knows I'm not a LeBron fan. But they say he donated money to the kids based on that. So if he did that, kudos to LeBron for finding a reason to earn some kids some money. But other than that, it was a bit look at me, look at me. You know what I mean?
A
But yeah,
lot of look
I
at me, look at
I,
me.
I think that this is gonna drag on because he do you think he's going to get Trout money? I mean, do
No,
you really?
no.
I think he might, to the underdog. I can see the Cubs backing up the truck. I can see the Giants unloading cash. I think the Dodgers payroll is a bit much to give them that, but I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
I so here's the way I look at it, D, is he needs to go to a place where they don't have a full-time DH already, because that's what he is. He's a full-time DH. So that excludes the Dodgers, the Astros, your team, the Yankees, a bunch of teams, because you're not going to sit Jordan for Shohei. He's not going
No.
to pitch next season.
Yeah.
Um, And
Jim Crane's
so,
definitely not spending that money for a part-time outfielder.
yeah,
It's
and so if I were held the keys to the kingdom on any team, and I were recruiting him, I'd say, Shohei, I'll give you 3 years, a 3-year deal with a player slash club option, a mutual option for another 4 years after that,
the
to give
prove
you
it
a
to me
total
clause.
7-year deal.
Exactly. Prove it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Show me that I can faithfully invest, the farm in you.
Yeah. And I'll,
He's
you know
young
what?
enough.
Exactly. I'll give you 20 million the first year, 20 million the second year, 20 million the third year. Then I'll kick it up to 35 million a season for the next 4 years. But show it to me, right?
Yeah. You
By
can
the way,
even you can even, um, add all kinds of extra money in there, just to round it up and give it a better look on paper for Sports Center there. Incentive, just incentive after incentive. But I agree. You got to prove it. We won't know what the arm is for a whole another season. So
no, exactly. And honestly, what happens if he comes back and his arm's still sore and he hits 227 with 25 home runs
or
and you sign this guy for 10 years?
even worse, while swinging to go over the fence there in the bay at his new home, he rips something else or something.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, I you got to do Shohei watch and we'll have fun with it. Who knows? Maybe next week during Can of Corn, um, he'll sign someplace. Who knows? But this guy's a unicorn. He's a generational talent. We'll probably never see anybody like this guy. But if I'm Shohei and I want to compete for a division title and a World Series ring, and I don't have, there's only two clubs that I think make sense for him to go to that don't have full-time DHs that are going to compete. That is the Baltimore Orioles because they're all kinds of young, and he will hit a ton of bombs in that right field
Yes,
bleacher area.
that's short wall.
Yep. Number two, Seattle Mariners. He already lives up there. They got J Rod up there. They got all kinds of stuff. I know you hate that because it's in the American League West,
It's
but
too early to pull out the censored card, but yeah, he needs to go
but
far,
I,
far away.
I'm telling you, I just straight up and straight out, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Astros, the Mets, even. I mean, again, you hire this guy, then you got to ship Pete Alonso someplace, right? Because what happens if Pete is a little sore and he can't play first base for a week? Are you going to sit Pete Alonso for Shohei? You got to because you're paying him big cash.
Yeah,
Can't go to San Diego. So,
I just think you're paying Shohei for the dual threat, and without it, who's really ready to invest? I think that's why it's going to drag out because it's not a frenzied market. Everybody's real apprehensive and skittish.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But for the teams that are in the race, tune in. We'll touch base on it from time to time, and
Exactly.
kudos to
Kudos to Shohei for making more than I do.
kudos to everybody but the Angels because we know one place he won't be next year.
That's probably true. That's probably true. There was a rumor out here for about, and I hate rumors, Dave. There's a rumor out here for probably 45 hours or so, right? And it was so funny. Angels were going to trade Trout for a bunch of prospects to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers were also going to sign Shohei. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, that didn't work in Anaheim. Why do we want it in LA?
Yes,
Like,
I was
are
gonna
you
I was
kidding
gonna
me?
ask you, are you ready to get the dynamic duo and pay a luxury tax?
Absolutely, I am. I mean, I absolutely think that that would be a great thing. No, move, move it on.
I mean,
All right,
like I
free
said,
agents
I
fight.
can't even I can't even bring up my beloved Astros because we're not Shohei's not coming here. I'm sorry, Astros faithful. You could say it. Big Dave said it. Shohei is not coming. We know. Hell, we Crane don't even want to pay Bregman. He don't want to pay Tucker. You think he's gonna overpay for somebody? Not at all.
No. So let's go to free agency by position. The offseason, this is the part of the offseason drives me nuts. So there's two times a year that drive me crazy. One, it's free agency market, and two, it's trade deadline. Because everybody thinks, Dave, that whoever is going to go to their team, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
But I
So
mean,
here's a couple free agents that are out there that play in the infield. Reese Hopkins obviously lost his job to Bryce Harper, and also getting injured. Adam Frazier, JT opted out in Boston, Matt Chapman, and then Ahmad Rosario. What are your thoughts on these free agents?
I think Reese is probably the let's take some focus off Shohei for a
Mm-hmm.
second.
Yeah.
There are a couple of fantastic first basemen that are up for grabs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, we're not in the market here in Houston for a first baseman, but as much as it pains me to cheer for a Dodger, I do love me some JD Martinez. He's a free agent. Reese with the Phillies, key component to their recent run there. Again, these guys are going to command top money. That they've proven it. They're, with the exception of JD, they're young. um, but yeah, Turner, that's a big. I spoke on this last week. Turner would be a great pickup for any young team that needs veteran locker room leadership. You know what I'm saying? Playoff experience, been in big games, been in key crucial situations with the game on the line. Chapman, of course. It's hard for me to like these guys that are in my division, but Chapman's been doing it for a long time, and so you can't hate on that. And when he went to the Blue Jays, he made it a little bit easier for me to like him, because that's like Astros North. We still love George Springer. George, you want to come back and retire an Astro? Come on, I'll call Jim. We'll make it happen. Okay. Um,
He's already
Shortstop.
called me and asked me, but I sent a voicemail.
Rosario's a big name, but Javier Baez, John Birdie, Tim Anderson's got a huge players option, but I wouldn't be surprised if the White Sox put together some type of package deal with the Astro, for just a mix there to try to work through some of those player options. But free agency is definitely going to be a hot ticket this offseason. There's a lot of big names and key components, and there's a lot of teams that are so close that they're just missing a piece or two. And I think those pieces are up for grabs.
So interestingly enough, the White Sox have already said Tim Anderson is not coming back.
Yes.
So he's done there. Ahmad Rosario is a good shortstop. When the Dodgers picked him up, I thought that was awesome, but he wasn't playing as much as he should have been playing. He's not a backup shortstop. He's in the prime of his career. He's a good shortstop.
He'd be starting for 31 other teams easily.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah,
your boy is Kike. Isn't Kike a free agent? Do y'all want
yes.
Kike back? Is he staying? Is it a possibility?
I think he'll end up staying. Yeah.
Okay. That's another, Astros ties. I'll take it.
I would love to see Reese Hopkins at first base, in an Astros uniform. Give Abreu a chance to be a full-time DH, and take Jordan and put him in the outfield.
Yeah.
That would work. That would work. So,
And Jim Crane has proven that he does not overspend. However, we are in the a new regime here, with Dana as the GM. The Espada hire seemed to be a full-on Dana Brown call. So maybe Dana's got the purse strings. I've heard rumors. Again, I hate rumors just like you do, that the Astros are ready to spend some big dollars in the offseason. I would like some of that to go to Kyle Tucker. He's got arbitration for the second time, so it's just going to get worse. So, and then Bregman's buying houses in Arizona. Granted, he's 30. Have we seen the best of Alex Bregman? As a possibility, but guys that win championships for your team, it's hard to let go. So I don't know. I would love to see Reese Hopkins in an Astros uniform, but then you're going to have to go through the heartbreak again. Juicebox Jackie just started, liking Jose Abreu. Now she'd have to trade all that in all over again and feel the hurt again.
We
Shout
need
out
to
to
reach
Juicebox Jackie.
we need to reach out to her and get her on Can of Corn.
Yeah, sounds like Jackie. Come on, Can of Corn.
You're invited anytime.
You've got
Okay,
carte
so
blanche. Yes.
there's about 1,000 free agent outfielders and pitchers and things like that. So I just picked a few of them. Cody Bellinger, Joey, I can't find a jersey that fits me correctly. Gallo, Jock, I need a better Barber Peterson, and Tommy, please don't play in my fantasy football league with me, fam. So of Dave, I had to throw some of those things in, right? So where do these guys go? Right? I mean,
How mighty Jock Peterson has fallen in the eyes of Dodger fans. I mean, wasn't
well,
Jock your boy? Need
no,
a new
no.
haircut. Woo!
He may have been a fan favorite. He wasn't my fan favorite. I
Oh
mean,
man, tough
this guy,
crowd, tough crowd.
this
Hey,
guy,
and lay off the big guys, okay? It's not exactly easy to find jerseys. I feel for Joey Gallo. That's why this Top Fan Rivalry sweatshirt that's available on the shop. Use the code Big Day for 10% off. It's such a great thing. It fits the fat guy well. Joey, get you one of these. Bill, stop knocking on you, okay? You said it though. Cody Bellinger is definitely the big fish here in the outfield market. I think he's got another like a huge player option, so I definitely think it's going to be a sign and trade type thing or something. Again, the Orioles are young and ready to spend money. I think a veteran like that would be good for a young team like that. Seattle, of course. Seattle's just a few pieces away. That's what scares me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
If they make a few deals, then it's definitely going to get interesting between us and the South Oklahoma, whatever, Little League championship holders, Little League championship parade having World Series champion
This guy,
Rangers.
this guy.
Jorge Soler comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? The
Yes, yes.
Marlins. That guy is a superstar. And then Yuli. We were talking about Juicebox Jackie and her favorite player, Yuli Gurriel.
Yep.
His little brother has proven himself to be a hot commodity. On this last World Series run, he was a key component to how hot they got, and he's up for grabs. So
So is his brother, and his brother still has petrol in that tank.
yes, and could we see the Gurriel, the Yuli brother? Well, I go into the Pena brothers, the Pineapple brothers, I
Yeah.
should say, together
Oh, that would be
again.
awesome.
I would pay to see that when they came to my town, most definitely.
That would be awesome.
There's some veterans out there too. Andrew McCutcheon, Pirate, not a Pirate, now a Pirate. Where's he going next? That's a guy that I'm pretty sure would be. You never hear anything bad about him. No, everybody loves him. Never a problem in the locker room. Our boy Uncle Michael Brantley, his days are done here in Houston. Should he call it a career? Does he still have something left? I think he's going to get another one of those incentive-laden contracts wherever he signs, just because he was on the shelf for half a season here. Peralta, Robbie Grossman. I'd love to see him leave the Rangers. Let them lose some people, please. Somebody sign. Don't let them go back. But yeah, there's a lot of talented outfielders out there. I touched on JD Martinez earlier. And Vogelback, man, the DH, the big boy. I cut for the big guys. I'd like to see him in an Astros jersey.
And he'd make sense because
he can play a little bit here. We can give Jordan when Jordan needs to play the outfield. We got a DH. When Big Boy needs a breast, we put Jordan in the DH, and he wouldn't mind sitting. I don't think Vogelbach would have a problem coming off the bench for the two-time World Series champion Houston Astros.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. So I think Cody goes to the Bronx. He declined his option in Chicago.
So,
they're
I mean, if anybody's gonna do it, like I said, they've already, what is it, Cole, Judge, Stanton, and who else? That's $500 million right there. It's like a 518 million on these four players.
The issue though with Cody is Cody's dad played there. It's going to be very much a what have you done for me lately contract where he'll
Yeah.
get paid 18-20 million a season with a bunch of
Yeah,
nice
I mean
player
it's the
options.
sentimental thing. Carlos Rodon, that's the fourth.
Yeah, Carlos Rodon, correct.
But yeah, I hate to see anybody go to the Yankees. And if you're a Yankees fan, then oh well, unfollow me. No, I'm kidding. Don't unfollow me. Follow me. Look, while I'm talking about it, go mash that subscribe button. Rivalry only on YouTube. That's the only place you can get first look at the new episodes of Can of Corn before anybody else. Okay.
Exactly, exactly. Um, I like Blake Snell, but we're going to hear a lot about him after Shohei signs. And Jordan
You
Montgomery
mean
did
when?
himself a lot of favors in the
Yeah, we
off
don't
or
have to
in
talk
the.
about Snell until he puts on the Astros uniform there with Dana Brown.
There you
Um,
go.
we need a starter, but yeah. What happens to Clayton? What happens to your boy?
Uh, Honestly, if I was pulling the purse strings with the Dodgers, I'd resign him.
You
I
can't
would
let him go out like that, right?
no, I would not let him. Here's the thing: I would not sign him for 20 million. I might sign him for 12 or 14 million,
Right.
knowing that he's not going to pitch
And
until
I don't
July.
think he'd fight that. I, I think
Yeah,
he'd welcome that.
I love what he does. So I was at a game down in South LA, aka as you call North Oklahoma, South LA, aka Petco, um, last season, and
Did you see
Bobby
the eyes?
Miller.
Did you get the eye rolling?
I did got that. I got the eye roll. Hey, if you can do anything you can do, I can do better, right? No, I'm teasing. So,
Bobby Miller.
but so Bobby Miller's out there shagging fly balls, and who's standing next to Bobby Miller but Clayton? And Bobby Miller's doing like these different like rotation things, and Clayton's showing him different things that he can do with his windup and things like that. That's why you pay Clayton. You pay him 12, 13 million so they can work with Bobby Miller, he can work with Emmett Sheehan, he can work with Ryan Pepio, all the young kids. I don't care if he starts 6 games for us and he goes 1-5 with a 5.0 ERA. You can't let his last game be the game where he was injured, where he made it a third of an inning and gave up 5 runs. You don't let a Hall of Famer go out like that. So that's
No.
me personally.
And I'm going to touch base with on this later. I couldn't agree more. When you have a player that is identifiable with the team, I mean, you say Clayton Kershaw, there's no other team that you're thinking about but the Dodgers. Okay. He's done so much for the team, for the community. You know, like I hate the Dodgers as much as the next guy, but real recognizes real. You know, Clayton is a future Hall of Famer, should be first ballot, but you never know with baseball writers. But yeah, you don't let him go out like that. You know, you owe it to him at the very least. You know what I mean? And I know
Exactly.
this is baseball and it's a business, but I miss the days of players finishing their career with their teams or at least putting in huge long stretches. And I'm not even against, I said it earlier, George Springer can come back to Houston anytime and retire an Astro. Do the 1 day contract thing, whatever. But Clayton, I think, still got something in the tank. I think he still got something to prove. Um, if only to himself that he's not going out like that. And if he does, then he goes out on his shield, and it's one of the quickest demises in baseball history. But you know,
Yeah,
Jordan
but
Montgomery is going to be a big pickup though too. Um,
yeah, I
that
I wouldn't
boy
have said
killed it.
I wouldn't have said anything about Jordan until the postseason. And no disrespect to you, Dave, but
No, he
he
smoked
showed
us.
it.
He smoked us. He
Yeah.
The Astros coming into that was one of the most potent lineups in the not only the playoffs but in the regular season. 1 through 9, we could hit, and we didn't. We were, you know, we looked bad. So again, Astros need a starting pitcher. I think is our lineup. I think is safe this year, possibly even next year. We definitely got to fill the hole in the starting pitching. I don't know what's happened to Fromber, and I think Javier's proven he's better off the bench. So Another player that I wouldn't mind coming back is Charlie F. and Morton. I think old Charlie, he won 17 straight. No, that was I'm sorry, was it curveballs or
Yeah.
anyway? He closed out the game for us, helped us win the World Series. Uh, Other than that, Ryu out of the Blue Jays comes to
Right.
mind. Young guy, got plenty of arm. Yamamoto coming out of the Japanese league, he's definitely going to make some waves.
Yes.
Um, there's a lot of teams that are in need of pitching, and it's been proven season after season, playoff after playoff that pitching is key. Like we just touched on, Jordan Montgomery smoking us here in Houston. Um, Again, the White Sox have proven that are they having a fire sales Clevinger going. Like I
So
said, it
the
could be
thing
one of
that
those package deals.
the thing that should worry you is a rumor that I heard. And again, I don't like rumors, but rumor that I heard, Shohei goes to Seattle, gets Yamamoto to go with him, and Jordan Montgomery. And so imagine then that will put Seattle at a place that you don't want them to be at. Yes.
Yeah, so it was fun talking to y'all. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go on and fade out now with this rumor. I wonder who started that rumor. Did that rumor start in your living room? Where did that
No,
rumor start
no,
there?
I read that someplace. I'm like, somebody's pro Mariners here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Dave, we talked about Clayton Kershaw. We talked about him kind of being a Hall of Fame guy. We're gonna do an off the record, and I'm gonna force you to vote for three. Okay. Up on the screen, we have 10 players, all all that were played in the 80s. Most of them touched the 70s. Not all of them, but most of them touched the 70s. And their numbers are drastically similar, with the exception of one that, may or may not have gambled. So, off the record, if you had your choice of Pete Rose, Don Mattingly, Steve Garvey, Keith, Keith, who speaks in the third person about himself, Hernandez, Dale Murphy, Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, Tommy John. Yes, it's more than just a surgery, y'all. Dave the Cobra Parker, and Greg Nettles. Okay. Looking at these numbers on the screen, where do you go? Like, this is hard. Where do you go?
Okay, so when I got the notes for the show, I was really excited about this. One is easily for me a no-brainer. Look, let me give you some stats that aren't up here. Okay,
Okay, go for
first
it.
all time in games played, first all time in at bats, first all time in singles, first all time at times on base, second overall in doubles, batted over 300 for 15 seasons, three batting titles, played 500 games at five different positions.
Hmm.
Okay, that's 2,500 games. Played at least 500 games at five different positions. Two Gold Gloves, regular season MVP, World Season MVP, and a three-time champ. Is that a no-brainer for the Hall of Fame or what?
I, I'm going to say, well, I'm
You
going to
can
reserve
bet
my
your
vote.
bottom dollar that Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall. The Hall is based on what you did in the diamond, not what you
Correct.
bet on the diamonds. Okay. So
Correct.
I understand it. And I think this was just a big old, measuring contest between Giamatti. Was it Bart Giamatti? What was his name? Who's the,
Yeah.
yeah, and Pete Rose. I know he hurt the integrity of the game. I'm so sick. Maybe I'm an Astros fan. Yes, bang, bang, fastball. I'm so sick of hearing about the integrity of the game. It's called stealing a base. The the idea of gaining an upper advantage on your teammates, on the opposing team, is the fundamentals of baseball. Okay. The fundamentals of America is that we will bet on anything. You know what I'm saying? I once bet on two lizards walking across a sidewalk. Like, look, I get it. I get it. This was actually more than an unwritten rule, but you don't bet on baseball. And I know it was worse that he was the manager at the time, and Did he shave some points? I don't know, but he wasn't a player. Okay. So
Preach.
all-time hit king, 5.929. He hasn't played since the 80s, and he's still miles ahead of the hit title. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's the
Yeah.
hit king. Pete Rose deserves to be in there. I wish that somehow, some way, someday the ban can be uplifted. I mean, the acting commissioner should be able to undo a ban, right? So we
Yeah.
need to find a guy who loves Pete Rose. We need to get him in as commissioner, and let's make it happen. Okay. So that's the no-brainer. After that, this gets really hard.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
I
So
think you could ask. Go ahead.
real quick, the only reason why I think a commissioner hasn't done it yet, Dave, is because no matter what they do, that's all they'll be known for.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
so,
mean, just do it
anyways,
on your way out.
I agree with you. If I have FanDuel at the bottom of my screen when I'm on the MLB network during the games or before the games, and now we're gonna have a team in Vegas, put Pete in, put Pete in.
I'm not going to say everybody, but a huge majority of the population, and I'm sure a huge majority of our demographic, our viewership bets. You know what I'm saying? A parlay is the greatest thing ever when it hits. And it's horrible when you've got 2 out of 3 and the last guy takes a crap on you. I
Right.
digress.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
I
now
get it. You know, whoever does it's going to be the guy. But think about it: when presidents leave office, what's one of the last things they do? They give out presidential pardons and they're out the door.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I agree. So now we got nine. You and I both agree, P. Rose. Now we got 9 other ball players here that you can argue any one of them belongs in, but you got 2 more choices. Where are you going, my friend?
I think you could ask 10 people this question and come up with 30 different scenarios
Oh,
or
amen.
however it goes. I also think it would drastically differ on geographical location of said fan.
Right.
Braves fans, we know what they're doing. Dodger fans, we know what they're doing. Tigers, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yanks. I'm not a Mattingly guy, and it's not just because I don't like New York. Mattingly was great, you know, Mr. Base. Did they actually call him Mr. Baseball? Donnie Baseball is what it was, right?
Donnie, yeah, Donnie Baseball.
Look, he had a great run. I think he had a good 6-year run. The rest of that was mediocre at best. And I think what hurt him was playing later into his career. That's kind of the demise of Pete Rose, too. Pete Rose's numbers got deflated a little bit because he played late. So, no, I'm not a Mattingly guy. Um, actually, you have Lou Whitaker on there, but I mean, Alan Trammell. But didn't Alan Trammell get in 2018? I want to say he did. So,
I think he did, yeah. And
so
I posted this beforehand, so yeah. So take Allen out of
you
there.
prognosticated this in 2018. Very nice.
Yeah, you go.
It doesn't feel right to me. Alan Trammell is definitely he would have been my second pick on here. You know, one of the greatest of all time. Even when I was a young kid and I got an Alan Trammell card, I didn't really know who he was until I knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those guys that you heard about, you know, even if you weren't from there. But it doesn't feel right for him to be in there without his double play partner, Lou Whitaker. Polished, all around great player. The numbers prove itself. I think he had to retire early, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he's one of the only second basemen other than Jackie Robinson to finish with like over 200 batted runs in, you know, and at the time you didn't have the hitters like you do of the day. It was definitely a pitcher's game. Lou Whitaker gets my vote as a Hall of Famer. If anything, just so he could be with his battery, with his mate there, Alan Trammell. I mean, that double play happened so many times without a hitch. I mean, it just seems right to me.
So you got one more. So you said Sweet Lou, you said Pete Rose. Who's your third?
Okay, so this shout out to my girl Megs. This is for you, Meg.
Ah,
I'm going, and this is what I was touching base with earlier when I talked to you about Clayton and being identifiable. When you say this guy's name, there's only one team you think of. Mr. Met, Keith Hernandez. Okay. Not only, let's forget the part that he was one of the best second basemen of all time and did it for a long time. Okay. Was top of, not necessarily his career wise, but he was good for a long time. In St. Louis, he won a National League MVP. You know what I'm saying? Even before he got to the Mets. But he was key in that 86 run to get his second title. You know what I'm saying? 5-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, a batting title. He's in the Mets Hall of Fame. He's in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? He still calls the Mets games, for Pete's sake. Like he does color for them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And above all else, like I said, when you say Keith Hernandez, I dare you to find somebody else that doesn't live in the greater St. Louis area and is 70. That you don't think of a Mets jersey. So I think
Yeah.
the proof is in the pudding. And look, if he's good enough for Jerry Seinfeld, he's good enough for the Hall of Fame. Who
So
else? Who else was in the Hall of Fame? I'm just saying that's been on Seinfeld.
there you go. So give me in 30 seconds, give me an alternate. So let's say you had a alternate pick besides for Rose, Hernandez, and Sweet Lou. On this list, who's your alternate pick?
All right,
30
I'm calling
seconds.
an audible since you're calling an audible since we had 3 votes and now I mysteriously get a 4th vote. I guess that's how you do things in Dodger land. You just manufacture an asterisk when you want one.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going off the beat. Joe Mauer. Put Joe Mauer in the Hall of Fame.
You're calling an audible. Okay. So here's the thing. On Monday morning on the ITL, I gave everybody the Rose, Mattingly, Garvey,
No, yeah,
Hernandez, the
but
first
before you
baseman.
go on, that was a joke.
Go ahead.
How can you basically be known for people know your name about a surgery that they have no idea what even
There
is.
you go.
They just know Tommy John surgery. So, 3, if Keith Hernandez is 3, Tommy John would be 3A. Um,
Great.
and forget the fact that look at the numbers. He wasn't just a schmo, that got his arm blew out and they created a special procedure. But yeah, I mean, come on, give it
26
to Tommy.
seasons. Yeah. So here's the thing on in the leagues on Monday, I talked about the first baseman. I talked about Pete Rose, Mattingly, Garvey, Hernandez, and I said pick two. And so they picked two. Most people said Mattingly and Garvey. Um, Obviously Mattingly was a first baseman. He played a heck of a third base, turned a double play. Look it up. It's pretty funny. Um, I'm if I go three, I'm gonna go Pete Rose. Okay, you can't deny his his force that he played with. Number two, I'm gonna go with Steve Garvey. His numbers just don't lie, and he was the face of that franchise for so long. And then when he came to the Padres, he was the face of that. Now, as much as I want to say Sweet Lou as my third or Dale Murphy played a little too long. That's why you see his numbers kind of a little lower than possible. And Craig Nettles was great at third base. But my number three on this list is I'm going Garvey, I'm going Rose, and I'm actually going to go Dave Parker. You look at his numbers. I mean, this guy was a force to be reckoned with. Um, when in
When
his prime.
300 home runs wasn't an easy thing to do either.
No, no, not at all. Now, if I had an alternate, Sweet Lou would get the alternate. I'd love to say Tommy, but Sweet Lou would get the alternate. I just this off the record discussion though, this one we put together just for funsies because these are names, all 10 of these names belong in the hall. Like there's no doubt about it, but you have what I'm gonna call the 80s, 70s/80s Hall of Very Good.
Yeah. And
And
like I said, like if you ask 100 people in California, you're going to get a lot of Garvey votes. If you ask 100 people in the greater Northeast New York area, you're going to get a lot for Mattingly. If you go down to the ATL, Dale Murphy is the guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody here deserves to be on the Hall. Again, baseball. I don't think baseball writers should be the end all of the votes, but that's for another show. Tune
That's for
in
another
for
show.
another episode of Can of Corn when we talk about baseball writers.
So let's wrap this up because we're almost 40 minutes into this, and you and I could do this forever. So let's wrap this up by showing you some statistics. Okay, Dave, based on those numbers, obviously we only did one pitcher this go around, but based on those numbers, you have a combined 22,972 hits. You have a combined 2,372 home runs, a combined 284 lifetime batting average, a combined 1,119 stolen bases. You also have a combined 10,069 strikeouts. Are you ready for this, Dave? This is an
Let's do it.
insane number. An insane number. You add up all the years that these boys played, 198 years in the game.
Go deeper. Divide all that by 10, and they're still astronomical numbers. If you just average them out between the 10 players, they still should be Hall of Fame material. At
Yeah,
19, almost 20 years each played in the game, and
yeah,
we're on top of the game for a long time. You know, one of my favorite baseball cards I ever got was a Steve Garvey card, and that's because of that movie with Cher and Eric Stoltz, Mask, about the boy Rocky
yeah.
Dennis, and he was trying to get the Garvey card. And well, I'm sorry, he was trying to get Rube Baker. He kept getting Garvey. Anyway, yeah, I mean Steve Garvey, Don Mattingly. You can't go wrong with any answer. But Meg, that's for you. Keith Hernandez, put
There
him
you
in.
go. Now,
And
Dave,
if we got to go back to this about more recent players that deserve to be in the Hall, because come on, Joe Bauer deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
oh, trust me, this is a topic that I think you and I will touch on some more. I just went into the 80s and said, let me grab a few players. We can go through the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. Um, it'll be a lot of fun. But Dave, wrap us up. So this is our second episode of Can of Corn. These air on Wednesday mornings. Just so that I'm going to say this in Texas, Dave, make sure I get it right. Just so that y'all know, how's my y'all working? Is it getting better? Okay.
Love it. Love it.
Just so that y'all know, this is going to be on YouTube. Okay. But it's only going to be on YouTube for 6 weeks. And then you need to go into the locker room, get yourself in the locker room, in the Top Fan Rivalry locker room. So if you want a sweatshirt, a hoodie like Dave's got on, you want locker room access. Okay. What is there a code out there, Dave, that can save them 10%? That's all I need to
Look,
know.
I got you. Peeps, use the code BIGDAVE. That's right. You big homie, Big Dave. Use Big Dave. Save an extra 10% on locker room access. Save 10% on this gorgeous sweater in the shop. But more importantly, we've got something coming up in January. Bill has put together something that you do not want to miss. And that is the first ever of what I hope to be an annual thing, the Top Fan Rivalry Fan Fest. Okay. Tickets are available only on topfanrivalry.com and exclusively through the locker room access. Okay. You can get a discount on that as well using the Big Dave code, BIGDAVE. You don't want to miss it. Go sign up right now for locker room access, the only place that you will get to see this glorious face and Bill doing this weekly Can of Corn. Where we got a long off season ahead of us. We want to try to keep y'all entertained, and hopefully under 30 minutes. Bill's going to be mad at me when we do post here, but anyway,
We're good. We're good. We're good.
hey, it's great, man. I can't wait for episode 3. You guys tune in. Like I said, also don't forget, go mash subscribe button there on YouTube, Top Fan Rivalry. Go follow my man, Top Fan Rivalry, on all platforms. You can find me on Instagram at Big Dave 713, holding it down from H-Town, the home of the 2-time World Series champion Houston Astros.
Yes, it's the place where you can find the best trash cans in the world.
Bang, bang, baby.
Bang, bang, fastball. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for those of you that watched this. We can't wait to get you episode 3. And we will talk very, very soon.